Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to stayfhomekins.
Gosh, are you okay? My goodness. Should we take that again?
No, we gotta leave. We gotta leave
You
it in
leave
for
it in?
truth. It's the truth. The truth is, I just ate some ice cream.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, here we are. Welcome to Stay of Homekins.
I'm Paul F. Tompkins.
I'm Janie Haddad Tompkins.
She's an actor.
He's a comedian.
We're a married couple.
And we're quarantined together.
There you go.
This was supposed to be temporary.
Yes, this is episode 21. Doesn't seem temporary now.
This episode can drink legally in America.
Speaking of drinking, shout out to our sponsor, Usual Wines.
Yes, Usual Wines. Usual Wines is taking us through August, and maybe they're not so usual. Maybe they're a little special.
Oh.
What do you think about that?
I think you're on to
It's
something.
like a reverse. It's like a reverse psychology, maybe.
Do you think the name Usual Wines is reverse psychology?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
special.
It
Anyway,
worked on me.
we like them. Thank you so much. We also have a new sponsor that's a surprise.
That's right. We're teasing an ad.
If you make it that far
Oh, look
in
who's
the
here.
episode. Oh, it's Cuckoo.
Cuckoo. You never hear this early.
Cuckoo. Oh my God. This one's going to be off the rails. I can already tell. Because things are happening in different times,
It's true.
in different moments,
It's true.
in different ways, in different rhythms, in
Okay.
different universes.
Some things are the same.
Some things are the same. Everything's the same.
Well, it's been a week.
Has it only been a week?
Yeah, I know. It's the weird thing of
What is
time
happening?
going so slowly, but
So
also
slow.
going by so quickly.
No.
And it's
Where's
such
the quickly part? It's not happening for me.
Because I feel like it's weird that it's been a full week since the last time we did this.
That's what I'm saying. It feels slow to me, not quickly. Where's
No,
the
but-
quickly?
Because to me, it feels like it was just yesterday.
Oh, wait.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Are you saying it was just yesterday? You think it feels like just yesterday that we recorded?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I'm not feeling that, but
Yeah, I get that. I'm getting that.
well, here we are. We're your human Groundhog's Day movie, doing the
It's
same.
just us. Look, everything's fine for you. We're going through something weird.
I have a question.
For me?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Do you think that we are all doing the best we can, or we're all doing the worst we can?
With everything?
Yeah.
As like a race of creatures.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I think
yeah,
that
Yeah.
the majority of us
Yeah.
are doing the best we can,
Okay.
which sometimes includes not doing that great.
Well, because we're not being dealt an amazing hand at the very moment.
Well, here's the thing. I
Okay.
think it's hard to be a person.
Yeah.
You
know what?
It's hard to be a person.
I could not. You know what? I think this is a very important point that people refuse to acknowledge in our current climate.
Mm-hmm.
That it is hard to be a person.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as performers, as storytellers, writers, actors, well, definitely you as a comedian,
What have you?
that is kind of like this crux of everything,
Mm-hmm.
that it's hard to be a person. Like if you aren't operating from a place of it's hard to be a person on a daily basis, then why are you even in the industry? You know what I'm saying? Like if you're
Well,
not telling these
yeah.
stories and you're not exploring the human condition
Mm-hmm.
in a multi-layered, deep way.
Well, I mean,
Am I wrong?
I don't think you're wrong. I think that I just don't want to exclude a lot of things that are, you know, in a less complex way, about the human condition. I mean, you could say like Pee-wee's Big Adventure is about how hard it is to be a person.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
I think that's true.
Yeah, but I just don't want to. What what you were laying out sounded very heavy.
So I know, but I'm saying like even comedy. I guess you're right. Like I want to be more inclusive about this in my conversation. Like what I'm saying is, but I'm saying that motivate. Like why even explore as a creative person anything if you're not operating from a place of it's hard to be a person.
Right, which I think that's what most creative people do. It's the underlying theme of everything, really. I mean, with the exception of like what Entourage.
Well,
but most. I think that most.
Wait, stop on
Oh
Entourage.
boy.
It was. Was it hard for? It was hard for a turtle, maybe.
It wasn't hard for any of them.
It wasn't hard for any of them.
No.
Wait, you know what? It was hard to be around them.
Yes, as a viewer
and as a person, or in the world of Entourage. Wait, now I kind of want to explore Entourage from the. Okay, keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt. I want to hear what you're saying, but also I don't want to just say exclusively creative people either, because I think service industry like people.
Well, but you're talking about telling stories and
that's what I'm talking about.
But storytelling aside,
yeah,
like. I think it's often hard for us to give other people credit for doing the best they can, because look, it's easy to be judgmental because we're also doing the best we can, and you're going to have moments where you're not empathetic
or where
and
you're doing better than someone else. And then you're like, why aren't they being more
that's true
great?
Too.
How come they're not being gracious in this moment?
That's true too. Yeah.
And I am.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of whatever.
We're a frustrating species. It's a fucking hassle.
Well, let me ask you this. If you were to solve it.
Are you reading this?
No, I'm just making it up.
Is there a broken teleprompter behind me?
Pulling this out of my ass. Like literally. No, I'm not literally pulling it out of my ass. I don't have anything in there.
Oh, God. Glad we got those sponsors.
Although that does make me want to talk about that Tushy bidet thing we bought. But anyway, I have some thoughts about that thing. Sure. But that's a whole other situation.
I wondered if we were ever going to talk about that.
You did?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Like, because we've never talked about it together.
No, not since it was installed.
This is making me kind of want to go there.
All right. Well, let's finish up.
I was just saying, like, if you, like, are there people who think that they've solved it?
I'm tired thinking of people listening to this and being like, yeah, I don't care about your grand thoughts about humanity. I want to hear about that bidet.
They're not our sponsor, though. We shouldn't even be giving them all of this.
Maybe they will be after this.
You know what? No, because if people buy it after this, we will have spent our, like, that whole transactional thing where they don't put the promo in or whatever. Right. They won't know it was from us.
They'll never know.
Unless they tweet about it.
We will be like the fairy godmother to the Tushy Bidet Company.
Okay, forget about the human condition, y'all. Y'all.
Let's get into this bidet.
Here's the thing. There is no answer. The answer is there is no answer.
You just try your best. You know what I mean?
I feel like maybe like on your deathbed, like the mystery of humanity is answered. Like you know how that feeling of like when you're falling asleep, but you're half asleep and you're not really asleep? Mm-hmm. Like maybe that feeling between death and life, like there's a in between moment.
Yeah, I love it because I'm thinking how bad I would be if I were dying and I was almost dead, and then my leg jolted.
Wake up!
No, my leg jolted.
What about when I opened the door and I'm like, honey, I thought you were awake. Do you think I'm going to do that on your deathbed?
No, I had my whole thought all planned out.
How about your leg jolting?
Yeah, like you're about to fall asleep.
Yes, and you twitch yourself out.
Yeah, Like
You twitch out, y'all.
Imagine like doing that right before you're about to die, and then you have like another couple minutes.
Wait, you don't
of
even
annoyed
get that,
life.
Like you don't even get like the full like that whole in between sleep and wake. And I assume there's a moment between life and death.
I assume.
Well,
when you fall into REM death.
I just am like, I'm hoping that in that moment, like so many questions become answered.
Who knows? Maybe they do. Maybe they do. Maybe in that moment is when you finally have a perspective on the whole thing that you were supposed to have.
But what a waste. Don't you think you need it like when you're dealing with other humans?
Yeah,
like
but
that whole time?
I think we just gain it piece by piece, and it takes your whole life to put it together, you know?
It is. I'm such an impatient person.
But here's the thing. Like the true monsters of history, you know, like your horrible politicians and warlords and shit like that. Whatever. Like you're not even, I'm not going to say obviously warlords are not great, but I'm going to say like
a Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, like a Mitch McConnell. Like
someone who is devoid of empathy, someone who...
There are people trying their best, and then there are people that are just not trying to do that at all. And that's like a Mitch McConnell.
Well, okay, so my therapist, she says that narcissism is not the disorder, but like...
The game? The board game? From Milton Bradley?
Is there one?
No, there should be.
That should be our sponsor.
Narcissism by Milton Bradley?
By the way, you just reminded me of something. So when I was a teenager, I was because I went to Catholic school and stuff. I was like really scared of ghosts. I didn't
know this.
Oh, you didn't know this?
No.
Because I'm like so not into, I don't believe in ghosts now. Or maybe I do, but I don't. But like, okay. So if you're raised Catholic, it sets you up for a lot of fear of the supernatural.
Yeah.
Okay? Because if you're told from like age 4 to 13 and 14 that like a holy ghost is gonna get you, like come into you.
It's gonna get you.
It's gonna like come into your body and stuff. Not to mention, like my dad let us watch The Exorcist when I was a teenager, and I was like scared to go to the bathroom by myself. But whatever. So we used to play with a Oujia board when I was a teenager, and I was very. And I know, like looking back, like they were all like messing with me so bad.
That is
like
the
all
sole
the guys.
purpose of the Oujia board.
Like all the guys, all my brothers and his friends, like they're all like 2.5 years older than me and stuff. And I was like so scared, like to the point where I was maybe disturbed for a while. Like I couldn't sleep and everything. And like my family had to like reassure me that it wasn't real and everything. And then at one point, my brother said, "What, you think like Milton Bradley has some portal into the devil?" And it was like the one thing that kind of like helped me.
Does Milton Bradley make the Oujia board?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I never thought to look.
Well, now
like who has the copyright?
Well, maybe they don't. Maybe they lost. Maybe they let it lapse.
Maybe it's public domain. We can make one if we wanted to.
Oh my God!
A
Stay of Homekins one. The Monopolies, because we have the BoJack Monopoly. Oh my God! We should get the Stay of Homekins Ouija, because you have to stay at home to do it.
That's right. What would the planchette look like? Cuckoo?
A glass of Tito's.
Oh, martini.
Some
Martini's a good shape.
Weekend water.
Is a good shape. Yeah.
Oh well, you don't even need the stem. You could just do the triangular goblet portion.
You gotta have this stem. Otherwise, it's just a triangle.
And then it'll say like yes, no, maybe, and y'all. Right?
Absolutely.
Yes, no, maybe, y'all. And then it could be like, I don't know, and gonna get into some trouble. Right? This is a beautiful idea.
It's a beautiful idea.
Oh my God. Milton Bradley, if you're listening.
Milton Bradley, I want to talk to the two of you.
Well, what I was going to say before we got in the bidet was that my therapist says narcissism as a quality can present on a spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if you're not asking the big questions, you might be on a spectrum. Because,
right.
like, people who have, like, narcissism, they're, like, born with they have, like, no identity, and they're constantly projecting because they're just, like, filling, like, this empty hole. I don't know. I'm not a therapist. Whatever. I'm just telling you, like, my cursory knowledge of dealing with people like that.
All right.
Because I've been there, y'all.
Yeah.
I have been around the block or two with these kinds of people.
You've been around the block or two.
What? You can't be around 2 blocks? You can't go around 2 blocks?
You would have said, I've been around the block a time or two.
You're right.
But you've
know
been
what?
around
I've been
multiple
around
blocks.
one block. I've been around one. Oh, so wait. The block. So it's only
Yeah.
the one block. So I've been around that block.
It's the block that Jenny is from. That's why the second time you go around the block, you are not fooled by the rocks that she got. First time, sure, you've never been around the block before.
Now you're making me remember. Paul did this. Okay, one time, y'all. Okay, Paul got approached to who? I don't remember who did it. Was it AV Club or somebody?
Oh, Vulture.
Vulture.
If this is what I'm thinking of.
Yes. So Vulture came to Paul like 12 years ago. And
God.
I don't even know why they came to you for this. Just because you're funny. But like, was there a connection?
They traditionally ran recaps of shows. They had people that recap shows.
Yes.
And for some reason that year they wanted to get a lot of comedians to do it.
Okay, so they came to Paul and they were like, Paul, we want you to write these weekly recaps. That's not even the weekend water. I just want you to know it's 100 degrees where I'm sitting. So sometimes I start sweating profusely. Don't forget I'm going through period during the Trump years. Okay, but so they were like, we want you to recap American Idol every week for our rag or whatever. And we didn't watch
for our rag.
It's like a rag. That's what they call the newspapers.
This is just a website.
The rags. Wait, they're not the rags?
No, there's not like a print Vulture.
E-rags.
E-rags, sure.
Okay, so they were like, we want you to like recap American Idol. We didn't watch the show, but you know, I mean, it was like a fun gig for you, and so you were like, it started on paper. On paper, it sounded like a fun gig.
On paper, it seemed very easy.
Yes, and then it turned like Paul like had Stockholm Syndrome by the end, and he was like in love with J-Lo by the end.
I did have Stockholm Syndrome with J-Lo.
But also, like, J-Lo is J-Lo.
Yeah.
And so we all have Stockholm. I mean, like,
who was it? It was
Stevie Tyler.
J-Lo, Steven Tyler, and Randy.
Randy Dog.
Oh, my God.
What's up, Dog? Or whatever.
Randy Jackson.
Okay.
I can't believe I blanked on his name.
And we never watched that show, but we ended up watching it. But it was sort of like this sort of hostage situation where, like, you couldn't plan anything those 2 days.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, we had to stay home and watch it, and then you were on suddenly on writing deadline.
Yeah,
which is how I'm sure TV critics are probably like that, and that's their life, and they get a paycheck for it and everything. But
I was getting paid for it.
Yeah,
but I was surprised at.
But it wasn't your main. It wasn't.
No. But it was very time consuming because the episodes were long.
Yeah.
They would go. They were like
long.
Twice a week. The season's long.
Is long.
And you know they're singing like a lot of bad music, and it's a lot of performers that I was not enjoying. Of course, if you watch a thing like that, an entire season, you do begin to have favorite people.
Yeah,
you can't help it.
Yeah.
You know? But
there's a sporting element to it almost.
Yeah, because there's a competition. But but you do get to. There are some personalities that, had you not watched the show from the beginning, you would discount these people entirely. Like you'd be like, oh, so what? You know, if you just watched an episode, somebody said, I like this guy a lot, and you watched it, you were like, okay. But it was crazy how taxing it was.
But they were so funny. That was my whole point. Is if you ever want to look up Paul's recaps of that,
I'm still proud of them. I still think they're
yeah,
funny.
they're actually
they're still up too.
Well, they're standalone. You don't have to have watched
the
season. Like he has like
absolutely
satirical point of view and everything.
Yeah. And so they're still up if you want to read them.
But when you said Jenny from the Block, it made me think.
Of course.
All right, are we gonna get into Tushy or what?
Let's take a break.
Wait, we're taking it now?
Let's take a break.
Oh yeah.
And when we return,
you know what? Because then people won't bail.
Honey.
Oh, okay.
Of course. This is too much of a peek behind the curtain. Don't let the rubes know that we got their number. All right, we'll be right back. We got a new sponsor this week. Say hello to Green Chef. Green Chef is a USDA certified organic company that makes eating well easy and affordable with plans to fit every kind of lifestyle. Green Chef lets you choose from a wide array of easy to follow lifestyles with select organic ingredients, and everything is handpicked and delivered right to your door. You don't even have to have a door, I don't think. Like, let's say you had to take it off the hinges because you can't trust your teenage son. As long as you have an address, you can get Green Chef. We did, and it is delicious. We had 3 meals: the rosemary roasted chicken, the Korean beef and noodle stir fry, pork patties, my favorite Peanuts character, with piccata sauce, and they were all fantastic. We were like eating them and making faces at each other like, this is very good. So that's from my heart to your ears. Green Chef is delicious. Here's what you do to get this deliciousness in your mouth. Use code HOMEKINS80, that's 80, to get $80, that's 80, off your first month plus free shipping on your first box. Go to greenchef.com/HOMEKINS80 to redeem and get more details. Again, greenchef.com/HOMEKINS80 to get $80 off your first month plus free shipping on your first box. Green Chef, you done did it again.
Hi, stay-at-homers. Have you tried Usual Wines yet? It is your perfect choice for weekend water. Each bottle is 6.3 ounces, which is a heavy pour or about 1.5 glasses of wine. They're low carb and have 0 grams of sugar. But wait, don't grapes have sugar? Yes! But to clarify, all Usual Wines are produced using natural, sustainable grapes harvested every fall. These grapes are picked at optimal ripeness to ensure all sugar will be fermented completely until the wines are dry with no residual sugar. So yeah, the wines are clean. This ensures the wines are as dry as possible and lower in calories. Check out their website at www.usualwines.com and use our discount code STAYFHOMEKINS for $8 off your first order. Also, the bottles they come in are totally cool and mod looking, and you'll want to save them to put flowers in. So try your first glass on us. Well, we hope you enjoyed those messages from our sponsors.
And now, let's talk bidets.
Wow,
those were bidets, my friend.
Tushy's missing out.
Tushy's missing.
By the way,
it's on them. It's their loss.
I think they're doing fine.
They're fine.
Okay, so the only reason that we ended up with one was because
Well, my grandfather died. He was an eccentric millionaire. We had to stay a night in a haunted house.
Okay, so if you guys can remember way back to the beginning of the pandemic, okay, there was like people were freaking out about toilet paper.
Yeah.
I actually read something about this. Some people were freaking out about toilet paper, but also I guess like something like 40% of our toilet paper usage is out in the world.
What? Does that mean what I think it means?
That people use toilet paper not at their home?
Okay, I thought.
What did you think it meant? Wait, what the hell did you think it meant?
I thought. I don't even want to tell you what I thought it meant.
Oh, like they were just like taking a shit in a yard or a field?
What? No.
If you don't tell me what you think
I don't think
meant,
I was listening that closely. I think I was thinking the result of our toilet paper usage was out in the world.
No.
Yes, I understand now. God.
So we had to supplement our at-home toilet paper usage, which resulted in like, rather than like commercial toilet paper sales, it became more residential, if that makes sense. And that's what I read. But also I think a bunch of assholes hoarded it. Okay?
Yeah.
Literally assholes.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
I've become the Tushy ad campaign because they have like a whole.
Well, they're leaning into it for sure.
Yeah.
There's a thing that about this bidet. One of the things I don't like about the bidet.
There's a lot I don't. Why do we still? Okay. Yeah.
The name of it I hate.
Sure.
I hate the labeling of everything on it, all the different parts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Why?
Oh, because it says bum wash.
Yeah, it could just say wash, and I would get it.
Wait.
Do you know what I mean?
I feel like we need to back up even more because here's the thing. So there was like this toilet paper panic. And
We thought it was going to be like Mad Max Fury Road, except toilet paper instead of water.
Which, both scary in different ways.
Yeah. Like an old man dressed up like one of the Charmin bears driving a big rig.
Wait, they should do Mad Max with they should do the sequel with toilet paper.
Sure. Shot for shot remake, but toilet paper. We should.
Charmin,
by the way, we should watch.
Charmin Theron.
Oh God!
What?
Oh my God!
What? Charmin Theron. Guys,
we should rewatch
Get it.
that movie.
That movie. Oh wait, when we had an experience watching that movie,
That was a blast. We
we
watch
needed
that again.
drinks after that. That was a weekend. I was like, I don't know what day of the week it is. I need a weekend water because
We
I
felt
came
like we
out
were-
and I was like buzzing.
Yeah, it was
I was
like we
like
were in the movie. It
I
was
was
great.
like thrumming.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. So anyways, we thought there's no toilet paper, and then these neighbors of ours, these friends of ours, they got a bidet. They bought a bidet, and they were like, we got a bidet, and it's supposed to like reduce your toilet paper needs. Plus, it was like being advertised to us like I don't know. It was an earthquake prep kit. And it was like, we needed it. So they were like, we got this bidet, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, Paul.
And they were very positive about it, right? They liked
They
it.
were positive about it. And they were like, okay. And I was like, Paul, should we get this? First of all, it was on back order. Okay.
Yeah, there was a run on bidets.
But also, like, this is a time where I was like losing my shit. Like, I was like, I don't care if we spend every dime we have because we're not going to live to the end of this. So, yeah, and you can't take it with you. You can't take it with you.
Expressing that thought that way, which it's a little unnerving to hear it now.
I was literally like,
I don't remember you saying that.
I was just having like, there's anxiety that happens in my body.
Sure.
And so I was like, okay, should we get this? And you were like, why not? That's what I think. Kind of feel like you had a why not attitude.
Yeah.
And I was a little like,
because people I've heard from other people love bidets, and I was like, maybe it's good.
right. And we're not. I mean, we're so super like American. Bidets are not a part of our culture, really. Like,
We wear our shoes in the house. We don't use washcloths.
yeah.
All kinds of things like that.
Yes, we colonize, whatever. And so I was like, okay, fine. So I was like, this is interesting that Paul's open to this. I'm just going to order it and see what happens. So it comes and I'm like, okay, it's here. And I'm going to put it in. I'm going to do the whole situation. Like I'm going to, So I put it in and everything. And then.
Putting it in, ordeal. Huge ordeal.
Cramped area. Or we don't, we have a small whatever. So I was like, okay, here it is. Now, how detailed should I get?
I would say you can.
I'm going to speak in euphemism.
We can be detailed in a tasteful way. I think people will get. Here's the thing. Everyone knows the concept. So I don't think we have to get super specific.
Water sprays on your ass.
I wouldn't say on.
Okay, I'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Okay, so I'm like, okay, let me try it. So what I don't know, because I'm a total novice at bidet usage, is if your butt is not backed up on the seat to the back of the seat, then...
Because you like to be on the very front.
I didn't know I did until I wasn't aware of my...
We've learned a lot about ourselves. Yeah.
I wasn't aware of my positioning.
Yeah.
And then, so I turn it on, and like, it does make contact with my body parts, but it also is like creating like a water feature kind of like around the back of the toilet. And I'm like, this is not hygienic. Like, you should not be spraying like E. coli water around the surfaces of your bathroom during a pandemic.
Right. Or ever.
So I'm like, I don't know.
That's a rule we have in this house.
So I'm like confused. And so I text my neighbor friend, and I'm like, it's so unhygienic. Like, are you having to like, desanitize like the seat all the time and stuff? And she was like, no, like she didn't understand. She's like, it was fine, whatever. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. I have to seal my
seal the deal.
My hippopotamus body around the edges of the toilet seat. And
maybe don't eat so many pumpkins, so many whole pumpkins.
Although it helps with the use of the tushy.
It's
if
true.
You have, the more surface area down there you have, the better it's going to work for you. Very true. So then I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like, it clicked, And then, but then some more interesting observations came up. But I'd like to throw it to you, Paul.
Well, it definitely was a new experience. And it definitely was a trial and error thing. And, there's different angles that you can move the nozzle and everything.
Yeah, you got to get that angle. You got to get that angle.
And then I felt like, okay, I know how to do this. But then sometimes I felt like the evidence was that I was not completely successful.
Sure.
And I thought, I thought I nailed it.
Yeah, but maybe like you're just going for a certain percentage.
Sure. But then other times, I felt like I aced this.
Okay, well, I have
and when I do,
yeah,
it feels
like a million,
extremely satisfying.
Like a million bucks.
Like, this is how it's supposed to be.
Well, I have a question about like those angles because
there's 3 different angles.
Oh, there's a lot of different angles.
The first angle, I don't understand who needs that.
I don't understand. Well, the angles are different for me every day.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you moving the switch every day?
I don't know what I'm doing every day, but let me just tell you that something new has been discovered.
Oh, okay.
I think there is like an enema angle that they don't tell you about that I don't know if it is appropriate for every day. For everyday life.
Right.
Have you discovered that angle?
I don't know that I've experienced it to the degree.
You know what I mean, like an enema. You know what that is, right? Where they spray water up your butt. Or like a
what? A colonic. Yeah.
Colonic.
I know what it is.
There's a colonic.
I know what it is.
Yeah. Have you discovered it?
No,
is what I
said. I have not had that particular experience that you have had, where I felt like this is now going too far.
Can I tell you what's too far? Can I tell you what's too far?
Is it going to be new information that you have not already disclosed?
Yes.
Okay, sure.
So when I was such a, uneducated bidet user, I decided to visit the Tushy FAQ page. There is...
Is it supposed to be erotic?
Well, I'm about to go where I told you that there is a feature of the bidet where they try to convince women that it is erotic for them.
Who is trying? You're saying
Tushy.
The makers
Tushy.
of the bidet are saying
Tushy.
And
Tushy.
how plainly are they laying this out?
Some women use it for orgasm. So I'm like,
Did they actually say that?
You go on there. Go on there.
First of all, I refuse. You tell me right now, is that what they say?
So I'm like texting.
You didn't answer my question.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Okay.
So I'm like texting my neighbor friend.
For orgasm.
And I'm like, and I screen capped it, okay?
Uh-huh.
And I send it to her, okay? And I'm like, Carla, what the fuck is this? Like, freezing cold fecal water is supposed to turn me on.
I think the idea is the two acts are separated from each other. You don't go right in.
Wait, are you sure? Wait a minute.
Hey, look, people are into all sorts of things.
Wait, so you're making like a special trip?
People are into all sorts of things.
You're making a special trip.
I'm saying you could. One could. I'm not saying anyone's done taking a shit. They're like, hey, you know what? While I'm here.
Well, it sure feels like that's what they're trying to feed you. Okay.
I think they're trying to say she has many uses. Sometimes you're not voiding your bowels. We can still help you.
And did I mention it's freezing cold? It's not warm. But there is an upgrade you can buy. Doesn't work for our setup, but whatever. Your toilet has to be next to the sink,
right?
In order for that situation.
That lets us out.
Yeah. Well, we haven't turned our backs.
Wait, so what did
on
your neighbor friend, whose name you said, but I will not repeat, what did she say?
A ha-ha clap back.
Clap back.
I don't know if y'all use iMessage or whatever, and you click on the thing and you can say ha-ha, or you can say heart, or you can say exclamation.
Yeah. So it was like clapping hands?
No, the clap back. The tap back. Tap back.
Oh, tap back. Okay.
Sorry.
Clap back is a different thing.
Sorry, the ha-ha tap back. She did the ha-ha tap back. Listen, there might have been more words there, but I don't remember.
That's not the most important detail.
I was just like, what the fuck?
That's wild. Now I would not have them as a sponsor if they begged me.
You know what? We probably just sold 100 Tushies. I bet Tushy's going to be like, why are we on back order again? You know what I mean?
I know exactly what
and
you
they
mean.
don't even get a promo because they're not sponsoring us.
I know. Hey, tell them we sent you.
Just tell them. You know what? If you buy one and just like tag us.
When you're writing your check that you send to Tushy, put in the memo.
It's not going to get there because they've sabotaged the postal service.
That's a gloomy topic we won't get into right now.
Well, I don't know. What else is going on? That was an interesting thing to learn about your bidet experience.
Yeah.
Is that you've been sort of like, you've been working on it. And you've got
Me?
it. Yeah. And you've got it down.
I want it to
saying.
be, I feel like I'm doing very well with it. I want it to be useful and practical. It's weird how it became like a
part of
routine
it.
thing.
It became part of it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, culturally, they're very big in other places, and have been for a while, right?
Yeah. Although, isn't it funny? We never see them in The Bureau, our favorite TV show.
And they're in France.
They travel all over the world.
They're in France.
Do you think they'll ever go to Hawaii?
One thing about the Bureau, I love the Bureau so much, but like that would be amazing if they went to Hawaii. But is there much intelligence? I mean, Edward Snowden worked in. You know, he worked in Hawaii, right?
No, I didn't know that.
What?
Must have been nice.
Wait, he worked in Hawaii and like in this cave.
Oh, that sounds like an episode of the Brady Bunch.
Exactly.
Did he find an idol?
He found some stuff.
Did a tarantula ever crawl on him when he was asleep?
No, and he had to go around the different Wi-Fi networks in the car to like dump his information or whatever.
In the car?
Like I'm like obsessed with like Edward Snowden. And this is gonna piss
a little bit.
This is gonna
piss.
Is
he your hall pass?
No. But this is gonna piss a lot of people off. Am I allowed to talk about Edward Snowden?
You're allowed to talk about whatever you want.
No, I'm not. People tell me I'm not.
Well, you're not asking people. You're asking me.
Oh. Well, what do you think? I can talk about whatever.
Talk about whatever you want.
You know what? I've decided I'm this is an interesting thing about me is I've decided I'm actually am a First Amendment absolutist. However,
all of y'all need to shut up.
No, I am a First Amendment absolutist. However, I do believe in responsible speech.
Of course, yes.
But I also don't agree with identity theft because I had an incident happen to me. And this may be too soon at the end of the podcast to bring it up. Well,
is identity theft covered under? Oh,
you remember the incident that happened to me? Because I've been sort of bullied online. I've been trolled online.
That made me very uncomfortable and anxious and scared.
It was very upsetting
and angry, of course.
I guess I should tell what happened.
Yeah,
just tell what happened.
Don't say names, but you can say.
Well, I'm not going to say. Happened. Guess what? I never said names. Ever.
No, I know, but don't say the name of the
incident that
people that whoever it was that because it was like some group or something. That
does
that
this kind
of shit. Yeah,
but like the tweet that set it off was about a specific incident. Am I allowed to reference it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I am a First Amendment absolutist. But I actually have a question for our listeners, maybe because this was something that sort of like perplexed me when this whole thing went down. But I don't know if y'all remember, but there was this incident where this kid was in a MAGA hat in D.C. at an abortion, like, whatever.
It was a Catholic school. I participated in this stuff when I was in Catholic school.
Oh, they showed me the silent scream.
Well, we went, but
they showed me the damn silent scream.
They showed us silent scream. Of course, it was number one with a bullet at Catholic school.
People who did not have uteruses showed that.
Yes, of course, it was ever thus. But I was one of the kids that would go to a clinic where there were abortions and be part of a candlelight vigil, outside,
sure,
singing songs and shit like that.
Sure.
That's the mildest version of it.
That is But anyway, so this kid had a MAGA hat. They were on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. There was a Native American man who was passing by, and
people remember this. It was the kid from Covington Catholic School.
Okay, I wasn't going to say it. Covington Catholic School.
You could say it. That's not the part I was trying to.
It's in the public domain.
So just like the Ouija board.
Although, you know what? The Ouija board might not be in the
How about Covington Catholic Monopoly? We'll do that incident.
Okay.
Pass the Native American. Go to jail.
I'll take the MAGA hat as my symbol. Okay, so anyway, this came out, and it was very, it was at the height of, like, people being like, it was like a year and a half after, like, Charlottesville. I mean, there was just so much going on.
It was a horrible time, and people were like, you just judge him because he wears this hat and all this shit.
Well, I made a tweet.
Mm-hmm.
My tweet said something to the effect. Oh, because then him and his horrible... the kid is probably fine, kid. I will say I'm pretty convinced the parents are probably horrible, morally bankrupt human beings.
100%.
Because they are now like ambulance chasing like crazy. Whatever.
Yeah, they were trying to sue Twitter.
Oh, people are going to be so mad at me right now because I'm talking about this thing. Here was the incident that happened to me. Let's forget about the kid, whatever. I tweeted, and this is significant. I have a verified Twitter account that has a blue check mark next to my name, which means that
I do too.
Well,
I'm kidding.
It
Go
just
ahead.
says like this is a
Actually
real.
me. Yes.
I'm not in St. Petersburg. Whatever.
Right.
So I said he came out and basically said something to the effect of, "I was there, marching for women or whatever." And I said, "Oh, he was protecting women's rights in his racism hat," or something like that. But I never said this person's name because he was a kid. He was like a minor, even though his name was released in the news. Maybe he wasn't a minor. I don't remember. And,
yeah, he was a minor. He was a high school kid.
But I was like referring to it. I didn't even use a hashtag. However, for some reason, my tweet went viral. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's not something like I've had tweets be passed around before, like in the comedy set or whatever, but nothing to the point where like you get the warning that says, "Hey, I noticed there's a lot of activity on this tweet. Do you want to set some filters?" Because I'm like, oh shit,
wow.
like someone's going to come after me or whatever. So anyway, I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to mute all of the, cuckoo pants. Well, all of a sudden, the next day, or it was like 2 days later, I started getting flooded. And I don't have a active Facebook much. Like, I'm not really huge on Facebook. Like, I just stay in touch with my cousins and my mom, whatever. I started getting all these messages through Facebook, which is not something I'm super active on. And it was totally unconnected from this tweet. And I had all of these death threats that were like, "Is this you? You're, I hope." And I opened it and someone had taken my tweet and they had photoshopped their own tweet over top mine. So underneath the numbers still looked viral, like 100,000 shares or whatever. And it had my name, it had my photo because I don't hide my face on Twitter, and it had my blue check mark. And they had photoshopped a tweet that said something to the effect of, "I hope somebody does a mass shooting at Covington Catholic School," or something like that. Now, also, just as a little background, I wanted Obama to take your guns. Like, I was fine. Like, fine with the Second Amendment. I'm a First Amendment absolutist. I'm a Second Amendment, like, let's get this shit under control. I'm really happy the NRA is being finally, like, they're a very corrupt organization on many levels, but whatever. But, like, I have often, like, retweeted, like, gun regulation. Like, I only support people with high ratings of the NRA, as politicians, if I can. So this was like upsetting to me on several levels, besides the fact that I was getting death threats from strangers. But also, they hadn't like hacked my Twitter account. They hadn't hacked my Facebook account. They merely doctored an image. Like, they created a fake. They'd created, like, I guess, like a deep fake of something I didn't say.
They just wrote their own text.
They wrote their own text, but it was next to my blue check mark.
Yeah.
And
it's very easy to do.
And it was going viral on both Facebook and Twitter.
Right.
And people were like threatening me, and I was just like upset because I didn't know that you could like fake being somebody and make a death threat. Like, I didn't know that you could pretend to be somebody else and make a death threat legally. But then
you can't.
Well, but you can, because I ended up contacting the LAPD, and they were basically like, it's the First Amendment. Like, anybody can do anything. That's what they told me.
Well, that sounds like bullshit.
Because I kept saying identity theft, and they were like, "But your credit cards haven't," you know what I mean? But I was like, but it was like they faked my true identity because I have the blue check mark and made a death threat.
I feel like I do. And
it was weird.
And I feel like if you maybe they're right, but I feel like if you pursued that, you might get an answer other than First Amendment, because that's not satire. It's not. Do you know what I mean?
No, it wasn't. It was not satire.
It's an incitement to it
violence.
Could be seen as an incitement to violence.
Yeah.
And at the very least, it's someone who is pretending to be you, who's masquerading as you,
yes.
Inciting to violence.
Yes.
Which I bet that it's just, and this is weird to say, I feel like the LAPD was wrong on this one.
I don't know.
Didn't give a shit.
But I was so upset by it for a lot of reasons. Obviously, the death threats.
Yeah.
Which they said to keep track of. Now, I don't know if these strangers were real people, because the group...
Who fucking
knows?
knows?
The group on Facebook... And I reported the... Here's the thing. I reported the group on Facebook. And Facebook took the group off Facebook.
Right.
However, some people had screen capped... I mean...
Yes.
I don't think... there was much that could be done about it, because I'm 100% positive it originated in a foreign country. Like, there is no way it was an American group.
Who knows?
Because the particular group on Facebook, I went to the page and I tried to, like, comment on the photo that they posted and be like, that's a fake thing, you know, and, you know, whatever, and flagged the post and then flagged the page, the group or whatever. The memes, the output, like, if you're trying to be like a meme or like a bot spotter, like, one of the things is noticing the volume of posts and the style of posts.
Right.
And the volume and style of posts on that page, what kind of unnerved me was how many people I was friends with on Facebook that was part of that page group.
Yeah.
You know, because I was like, wait a minute, these people have said yes to joining this group.
Yeah.
That was parading as like some conservative group, and it was clearly like a foreign actor, you know, which is why I think Facebook took it down so quickly. The whole page, they took the whole page down.
Right.
But I couldn't get their parallel group on Twitter taken down.
Their parallel group?
They also had a Twitter account.
Oh, yes.
They also had a Twitter account.
I remember this now, yeah.
And I kept reporting the Twitter account, which I blocked. But what was upsetting, though, is that I do think the First Amendment is an awesome amendment. But I also think, I mean, there's never not parameters on anything. Like, even the Second Amendment.
Yeah, I would say it's worth looking that up, because I don't know if I take the LAPD's word.
I just couldn't. No, but I was in contact with a assistant district attorney who said it was identity theft, and then I took that information to the LAPD, but like, who do you talk to about it? And like, who do you prosecute if it's a foreign actor?
Yeah, I know.
And I don't know where they are, and I don't know their names, and I don't know who they are.
With all this stuff, it's like the best you can do is shut it down, you know, and force them to start over again with a different group, and you know what I mean? I mean,
what is interesting is that I never had another tweet that had that kind of attention, so I didn't become a target again. I guess, knock on wood, I don't know. But like, clearly there are people who are very vocal and have a large following and probably have a lot of attention on them by these particular people.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
It's a scary world.
I mean, what do you think? Like, First Amendment, yay. Identity theft, illegal.
Yeah. I think that inciting, like, posing as someone in order to accuse them of inciting violence that's got to be...
It's a line.
It's got to be a crime.
Oh, this was the question I wanted to pose the listeners. Do you feel, if you're blue checked on these sites, that now becomes a piece of your identity, like a driver's license or a passport, if it's being falsified?
Oh, I see.
Like, in my opinion, if you're a verified person and you've had to provide certain credentials to prove that you are this entity that is speaking, right, then in a sense, that is a form of identity theft. Like for
Well,
Instagram,
I mean,
I've had
the whole idea of that blue check is the point of it, is to say this is really the person. And,
Right.
you know, there are other people that, you know, may be using the same name or a slightly different spelling or whatever, same picture, blah, blah, blah. But if you see this, then you're supposed to be able to know this is the actual person.
But they were so cunning about it because they took it from one social media platform, which was which was Twitter, and then they posted the falsified thing on a separate, differently owned social media platform with different rules.
Yes.
You know, and they were very cunning about it.
Yeah,
because I couldn't report it to Twitter except when people posted it at me, at me.
Yes.
You know?
Exactly.
And I couldn't say this account is pretending to be me because it was merely a photoshopped JPEG.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So they had clearly had run up against every wall of trying to, you know, pretend to be someone else and figured like a way around it or a back door.
Right.
And yeah, no wonder the LAPD was like, shut up, you fucking dumb white lady.
Yeah.
We
have black people to kill.
Yeah, we don't care about your you know, but I was like near tears. Like when I was like going to like 3 different people because the police department's right by our house.
Mm-hmm.
So I just walked over there or drove over there with my laptop. And I was like, no, you don't understand. I was like, someone's pretending to be me. And they're like, they can do it because it's First Amendment. I was like, yes, but it's for a crime against children. Like, don't you want to take this seriously? Like, if you were a teenage boy and you had posted something like that, they would be like, the FBI would be raiding your house.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so it's like, please take this seriously because this is very sensitive. It's not that I'm like offended that they like pretended I was a Republican, you know, like I don't care, like that, I wouldn't care, but like they were threatening to do a shooting, you know. That brings me to recommendations. I know, because we're like going over, and I don't want to. But there's a journalist, and I can't remember this guy's name, and it's gonna kill me. But like, he wrote a book called Parkland, and he wrote a book called Columbine. And they are an amazing journalism, and I recommend them both if you are looking to kind of like understand the crisis that we're facing in America with, you know, mental health and gun proliferation and some of these things that we have allowed to sort of blossom under our noses and stuff. The Parkland book is interesting because he follows like the activism part of it, which is an extraordinary element of that story. Because I remember, because I was alive during Columbine and remember when that happened very specifically where it was and everything in the moment it happened. And I thought his book about Columbine was very well researched and very sensitive about every person who was a victim in that, and there were, you know, parents of the shooters who were also victims, and one of the shooters' moms wrote a book as well, and she's very active in activism about how to deal with these crimes and how
Is
not.
it Shannon Watts?
No, of Columbine. Yeah, I can't. Klebold.
Dylan Klebold, yeah.
Was it his mom? Anyway, it's a very heartbreaking memoir. I read all 3 of those books, and I highly recommend them. There's also a series on Showtime about active shooters where they don't focus necessarily on the shooters, which is one of the things that is important to do, which is not try to lionize these criminals, but focus on the impact. And there's a series on Showtime. I watched the whole thing. It's fucking fascinating. You can't look away. Where they focus on the trauma a lot on not just the survivors, but the first responders, which is an area that doesn't get a lot of attention. I recommend it, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's on Showtime. Okay, those are my recommendations.
I want to recommend, I just finished a book last night, Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead.
Oh, yeah, I've heard
great
of that.
Novel.
That was an Oprah. You know, I think that was an Oprah pick. Or was it not? Oh, Underground.
Are you thinking of Million Little
Underground
Pieces?
Railroad. No. Let's not go there.
No, Underground Railroad is also a terrific book that I think I might have recommended that at the beginning of this.
But that's Colson.
That's also Colson
Whitehead. Yeah. And you really like Nicole, because Julie, our neighbor, also like.
She recommended it to me.
Oh, she did. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was great. And I also want to recommend Doom Patrol, which you can find on HBO Max. It was a show that I had been interested in seeing, but it was on some DC Comics only platform, and I was like, I don't know if I can get another platform. I know, just this one show that I'm curious about.
We ride the rails, remember?
We ride the rails. But then HBO Max has that on there.
Oh, okay.
Because they have a ton of stuff. And I've really been enjoying it. I'm almost done with the first season.
Good.
It's a fun, weird show. It's based on bringing us home.
This is a long one. This is a long one.
So those are my recommendations for this week.
Okay. Well, those are good, y'all.
You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at stayfhomekins. And you can write to us at stayfhomekins@gmail.com.
Yes.
And I think that's it, man.
Guys, please take care of yourselves. This is a marathon, not a sprint.
That's very true.
Also, our country is broken, and it was before this happened, so whatever.
Not a sprint. Our country is broken, not a sprint. So we'll see you next week. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay sane, and stay home.